Hi there, Booksheep. It's Roz, scallywandling about the books, and
Tilly from Tilly's Shelf, and we're here to talk about another one of our modern novels. And I think this might go up in August, which is Women in Translation Month, and it is a woman in translation.
it is indeed. Technically, it was our June choice, and we both read it in June for our contemporary fiction series. But we swapped orders so we could do a Jane Austen related book in July.
So this is Under the Eye of the Big Bird by Hiromi Kawakami, and it is translated by Asa Yoneda.
Yes, you might hold it a little nearer. So.
Oh, I might hold it a little. There we go.
There we go.
Have a good look at that. I really like the cover design.
I really like
I
the
think
cover
it
design.
fits the book very well.
It does. It does.
And it's kind of
Yes.
odd bird shape
thing that isn't quite a normal bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yes, and this isn't quite a normal book, is it?
Indeed, exactly.
Yeah.
It's an unusual book, to say the least. It's called a novel. It is a novel.
Yeah. It's fiction.
It's fiction.
I don't know, how do you define a novel? It's fiction. I'm gonna sit on the fence here and say that it's fiction.
it as you're reading it initially feels a bit like a sequence of thematically connected short stories.
Yeah.
But as you go through it, you see more and more of the connections to the point where it does start to feel like, no, this is a novel.
Yes.
But
yet you never quite lose the sense that you're... I think of it...
Yes.
I'm going to go into like a metaphor here.
Yeah,
like skipping a stone on a lake.
Oh,
yes. Like each story or each chapter...
Yeah.
Is an individual hit of the stone on the water, but the ripples intersect with the other, and it's all the same lake.
It's the same lake, and actually...
But you get glimpses of...
Yes,
as it goes on.
And because one of the things you realise gradually as you're reading it, and we're going to... It's not the sort of book that you can sort of literally spoil, but you could perhaps spoil some of the pleasure of reading it, so we're trying to avoid doing that. But one of the things that you come to realise is that we're dealing with a different sense of time, a different scope of time than your typical novel. So, you could describe it as speculative fiction.
I absolutely would describe it as speculative fiction. I'd say it's very speculative.
Well, exactly. It's like lots of things that are called speculative fiction are like sort of
typically quite a normal format with some additional
that just happens to be in a different world or time, or this element, whereas this is truly
And Kawakami's obviously thought quite hard about how to do that and how to kind of push and challenge the reader and how to change the story format, and she gives us just enough of what we're used to. So when we were talking about this before the video, we were saying if you're somebody that you really depend on having strong characters to bring you through a book, there are strong characters in this. There are
definitely strong characters, but you don't
follow them in the same way that you might typically.
And there are a couple of characters that do recur.
Yeah. And character types that recur.
Recur, but it's not it's like, oh well, if you need to like really engage with one or two key characters to get you through a book, you're not going to get that.
You might have to adjust your reading expectations.
Yes. And I think and we've also said, if you need a really strong sort of narrative plot. Yes.
I did find it quite.
It tells a story.
I was drawn in. I was very much drawn in.
Absolutely, and the overall story. They've said that time is on a different. It's like the story is on a different scale.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And should we say it's set in a sort of dystopian world, future,
Yes.
potentially post sort of environmental catastrophe,
some sort of population-related crisis.
Yeah, I'm just trying not to commit myself here because
Yes, don't just commit ourselves to it.
And it's got some beautiful scenery actually in terms of setting these isolated communities in this world. It's interesting.
Yes, they're beautifully described and vivid, but it's one of the barriers for me sometimes with speculative fiction and fantasy is when you get lots and lots and lots of detailed world building. Personally, I know some people that's actually what they're looking for, but that is a bit of a turn off for me if I'm worrying about what is it. And that wasn't a problem with this.
You're left to fill in the blanks.
It's very light touch.
Yes.
And you have to fill it in. But I was quite... But there was enough.
Yeah.
I like that I was... Yeah,
and you just get like a framework. Like at one point it says like in the lab. So then you just kind of create a lab in your mind. Yeah. But you don't get, all of the details and exactly how the lab works.
Yeah. And you don't worry too much about what technology they're using now or...
There's a few references.
The hover
type things.
Yes.
There's a few things that are maybe more like what you would imagine from sci-fi type.
Kawakami wrote this it was published in Japanese in 2016, but the English translation was published this year, so it's very much a new book, and it was shortlisted for the International Book Cup, and I can see why, because I think
it's got that quality.
It's got that quality.
That quality is there.
And also because the International Booker is always looking for a kind of successful translation. And this is a book that in some ways must have been quite challenging to translate.
Oh, absolutely.
But is actually really successfully done.
Yes, I would say so,
Yeah. And it's the second book. I've read 2 books by this author in June. The other one was published in 2024 in English, and that's The Third Love. But that was actually published in Japanese in 2020. So this is
her later book.
This is an older book by her, but just came out later. So because we can get it, that's always a bit confusing, when you really
the order of translation. It's funny how certain works are picked first. I suppose it depends on commercial success or
I suppose so. And then people go back and look at the backlist and bring it forward. But you can kind of assume that you might think, oh, this is her latest book. It isn't. It just happens to be a very forward-looking book.
I think it's probably one of the most thought-provoking books I've read so far this year in terms of fiction. I've read a lot of really good non-fiction this year, but it's one of the works of fiction that's really made me think the most.
Yes.
And I do think that I would like to read it again, because when you get to the end, I think you were saying that some people get to the end and they say, oh, it all makes sense when you get to the end. No, not really, not quite, but you get a sense of something else.
Yes, it does. It does make you rethink a bit some of the bits that you've read previously, and so I could see why you might be tempted to go back and just start again and read it all with that slightly different perspective. But it's not like there's some sort of big reveal at the end that says, it's she woke up and it was all a dream. Not that. Yeah.
So I guess the important thing in this book is themes. So did you want to talk briefly about some of the themes?
Yes.
It's main one is sort of about how people, I guess, how people interact and how people interact in small groups.
Yes. And we say people.
It's also what are people is another thing.
Yes. What's a human?
What makes a human?
How do you define? What do you need to still have to still be Human.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a couple of different ways that humans are changed in the world over the course of the story, or that we find out about changes to what a human might be, and I guess it's about provoking a reaction from you as to whether you still would perceive that as human. And some of the characters in the book are also struggling with that perception of are these related to me or are they not? So it does that quite well,
and I found that very interesting, and actually quite profound.
This is why I think it's speculative fiction at its strongest, because speculative fiction is profound, or it should be profound,
or can be. I mean, no, but it can be funny or romantic or whatever it wants to be. But yes, it's definitely
and in its fiction that challenges borders of what we're thinking about at the moment. Like it's fiction for our era.
Yes,
in terms of. We are already thinking about things like the last couple of years, the massive advance of AI and things like that. That's not necessarily exactly what's in the book, but it's prompting the kinds of questions that this book is also prompting.
Yes, so because that makes us think about, what is independent consciousness, I suppose.
What is consciousness? There we go. We're getting more and more.
We're really profound. Yes.
But this is why it's a good book.
Yes.
Like, I'm not somebody who often sits down and thinks about the nature of consciousness. I just don't. I just live my life,
Wittgenstein or whatever.
I'm not a philosopher. But it made me think, and it gave me kind of
But that would make, talking about it in those terms makes it sound as if it's sort of heavy or turgid, or it's all about idea. Whereas actually
overly cerebral.
Yes,
but it's not.
It's not. It's very easy to read. It's kind of quite touching in places. It's quite tender.
Yes, it's got beautiful moments of human interaction.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot about sort of not exactly parenting, but child rearing and connections between generations. Maybe made it sound a bit too.
Yes, I hope we haven't made it sound sort of off-putting, because on the contrary, I thought it was a really lovely book.
Yeah, endearing.
Yes, endearing. I was very fond of Ian and Jacob.
Yes. And their bird.
And their bird. Yes. They're kind of
characters that stay with the story for longer.
They reappear in the story. At intervals, and it's I suppose it's a story that says you shouldn't read it thinking, I've got to make sense of this, I've got to make sense of this. That's not the way to approach it.
Accept the fact that some of it doesn't make sense
to you as you're reading it. But that's okay.
And think about why that is, I guess. What it reminded me of, there were two books that it reminded me of. One was Margaret Atwood's collection of short stories, Stone Mattress. And I don't really remember enough about that to know why, but I think it's the oddity of different aspects and this kind of the short story interconnected thing definitely comes into play in Stone Mattress, but also Vita Nostra by the Jakenko siblings.
Oh, that's not my. I can't remember.
A pair of authors. We'll put it in the description. Which is a fantasy story which approaches fantasy stories in a completely different way to your typical fantasy story, and that kind of the way that as a book it's a really good book, but it also pushes a little bit at the what you might expect. I thought that was good.
And I have to say, I think I preferred it to The Third Love. Not that matters, but there were...
but there might be people who've read The Third Love and thinking, should I read it?
And I think this was even better, I suppose, was my perception. Quite different, but an even better book. But what an interesting writer, what unusual. I definitely want to read more things by her, because those are two very different, very interesting books. And
Yeah. So I didn't read The Third Love because I couldn't get hold of it, but I definitely would read other things by her. Just
by her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say if we've, I don't want to say we've been lost for words, but we've probably struggled a little to explain this book without spoiling it.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope we've conveyed that it is a very positive recommendation.
Yes.
Is that?
I think so. And it's kind of a book that you want to, if you want to read it, I'd say try and arrange a buddy read.
Yes.
It's kind of you benefit from maybe going, as you're reading it, being able to say, what on earth is going on to somebody else who's in the same place.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have read it, do comment in the, and we'll have a little kind of conversation in the comments, because, and yes, give it a try, even if you think, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for watching.
And thank you for watching.
Enjoy.
Yeah. And we've got a September book to choose now.
August. We'll figure
it out. Don't worry about us. We're okay.
Yes.
We know what we do. We're a bit tired. It's a bit late in the day.
We'll read some books at some point, and we'll probably talk about them.
And make some more videos talking about them. And they will be contemporary fiction.
Yes.
In translation or otherwise. Bye.
Bye.